The cavalry believed they conquered Tyre. The infantry believed they conquered Tyre. The sailors believed they conquered Tyre. The truth? For most of the siege, they spent their time waiting for us to build it. My name is Diades, and if you ever visit Tyre, you're still walking on my work. When Alexander arrived at Tyre, everyone focused on the city. I focused on the water. Because the city wasn't the problem, the sea was. The walls were impressive, the defenders were determined, the fleet was dangerous. But none of that mattered until we solved one question. How do you attack an island without ships? One morning, Alexander stood looking at the city, silent, watching, thinking. The sort of thinking that made officers nervous. Eventually, he pointed toward Tyre and asked,
"How deep?"
That was all. Not, "Can it be done?" Not, "Should it be done?" Just, "How deep?" I should have been worried. Instead, I became excited. That is why engineers are dangerous people. Before we built anything, we measured depth, current, distance, wind. The sea is like a stubborn mule. You cannot command it. You must understand it first. Most soldiers saw water. I saw numbers. At first it seemed easy, too easy. We used ruins from the old mainland settlement. Broken walls, old houses, discarded stone. Everything went into the sea. Thousands of workers, thousands of trips. Every day the causeway grew. Every day Tyre moved closer. The Tyrians mocked us, constantly. They shouted insults, made jokes, placed bets on when we would fail. One morning a defender shouted,
"Perhaps when you finish, your grandchildren can attack."
His friends laughed. I hated him immediately. Then the sea reminded us who was in charge. The farther we moved from shore, the deeper the water became. The stronger the waves became. The current became unpredictable. Stone vanished. Timber disappeared. Entire sections collapsed. Months of work, gone. Then came the storm. The sort sailors fear and engineers remember forever. Waves smashed the causeway. Structures broke apart. Timber floated away. Equipment vanished. When the storm ended, I stood staring at the damage. Weeks lost. Perhaps months. The men around me looked defeated. I felt something worse. Embarrassed. Alexander arrived the next day. I expected anger. Instead, he studied the destruction. Quietly. Thoughtfully. Then he asked,
"What have we learned?"
That was his first question. Not, who is responsible? Not, why did this happen? What have we learned? That was when I understood why he kept winning. Most men see failure. Alexander sees information. So we rebuilt. Wider. Stronger. Heavier. More stone. More timber. More workers. The causeway became enormous. A road. A fortress. A weapon. All at once. Then came my favorite part. The towers. Gigantic siege towers. Higher than many buildings. Covered with protective materials. Loaded with artillery. Built on the causeway itself. When people imagine conquest, they imagine swords. I imagine wheels. The Tyrians had other ideas. One afternoon they launched a fire ship, an old vessel packed with fuel, drifting toward the causeway, toward the towers, toward months of work. I remember shouting. Everyone remembers shouting. Then came the flames. The towers burned, the equipment burned, the causeway burned, the sky itself seemed to burn. The Tyrians celebrated from the walls, and honestly, they had earned it. It was brilliant. People often ask why Alexander succeeded. The answer is not simple, but one part is. Most armies fail after enough setbacks. Storms, fire, collapses, delays. Most commanders eventually say, "Enough." Alexander never did. That was the real weapon. Not the towers, not the ships, not the army. Persistence. Relentless persistence. Eventually the fleet arrived. Eventually the blockade tightened. Eventually the walls were breached. Eventually Tyre fell. History remembers that part. It should. But I remember something else. The causeway. The road. The impossible thing that became real. Stone by stone, day by day, failure by failure. Years later, I returned. The sea looked different. The currents had changed. The shoreline had changed. Even the fish seemed to know something had happened. The island was no longer quite an island. The sea had been altered. Not permanently, not entirely, but enough. Enough that people centuries later would still see the consequences. That is the strange thing about engineering. A battle lasts a day. A road lasts generations. A king lives a lifetime. A wall can survive an empire. And sometimes, a pile of stones thrown into the sea becomes part of history. Not bad for a group of men everyone forgot.